Hey everyone, this is Riddle Hakuraja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the anime episode number 228, which is titled Kawaki's Path to Becoming a Shinobi or a Ninja. And I like this episode because when the promo material for these upcoming 2 3 episodes came out, it talked about Kawaki being sent out on missions and even on a mission outside of the village. And I was like, wait, Naruto and Shikamaru know that Kawaki is still a target because Code is out there and we don't necessarily know how many other Kara outer members are out there. So why would he allow Kawaki to leave the village, and that too on missions with uh, Chunin and young ninjas necessarily, and not a team of Jonin? And yeah, I like the fact that this episode addressed that issue and basically tried to give us an explanation about behind why Naruto wanted Kawaki to go out on missions. But we'll get to it in a bit. So the episode opens up with Boruto waking up. He doesn't have to go on a mission, so he has been catching up on his sleep, and he goes into the kitchen. Himawari is sitting down for breakfast, and Hinata is preparing meals for them. And Bruto comes in, and Bruto is like, "Okay, so where's Kawaki? Isn't he going to come down and eat with us?" And this is where, yeah, the kids are like, "Wait, so Kawaki is still asleep. Why don't one of you go and wake him up?" And we get to see Bruto and Himawari in basically an argument because both of them don't want to go and wake Kawaki up. And I'm like, why is that? Does something happen when you try to wake Kawaki up? And it turns out that yeah, something does happen. So Himawari and Bruto do a quick rock paper scissor, and Himawari wins. So it's Bruto's turn to go and wake up Kawaki. So it turns out that when Kawaki is fast asleep and he's snoring, if you try and wake him up, his body reacts and he tries to attack you, which Kawaki does because Bruto is trying to get him to wake up. And Kawaki extends his arm in order to attack Bruto, and Bruto has to dodge it. So yeah, we know that when it comes to sleeping, Kawaki likes to sleep a lot, which, okay, I guess that's a character trait. So Kawaki has a meeting with Naruto at the Hokage office. He goes in, and Naruto's like, "Kawaki, I asked you here because I have decided that you should begin your ninja training. So from today onwards, you will be sent on easy missions in order to see whether or not you should be given the title of a genin. And basically, in order to become a genin, you normally have to pass the academy and then also pass the test. But because you are different, we're going to send you out on missions." And Kawaki is like, "Okay, I guess. Even though I'm not necessarily sure if I even want to become a shinobi, I guess I'll give these the D rank missions a try." And this is also when Naruto and Shikamaru talk about how it's important for Kawaki to make connections with other people in the village his age, and because it's Naruto. And as far as Naruto is concerned, we all know that for Naruto, friendships is are very important, and thinking of the village as a family is very important, and he wants Kawaki to start thinking the same. And he's very interested in seeing whether or not Kawaki is even able to make friends outside of the core Team 7 group. Like, he is friends with Boruto, but Naruto wants Kawaki to have even more friends. So the first D-rank mission is basically with Denki's team, and they have to capture this panda. And the plan is that they are going to force the panda to go down a specific path, and then Kawaki will block its path, and then Denki will come in with its electrical trap in order to trap the panda. So the mission goes as planned. However, when it's turned for the panda to be stopped by Kawaki, Kawaki isn't anywhere to be found, and the panda keeps on running. Metal has to go in with a kick, and he gets injured. And then Iwabi has to use his Earth-style jutsu in order to stop the panda, and then Denki comes in to capture it with an electronic net. And they're like, "Okay, so where the heck is Kawaki?" And Denki hears Kawaki snoring on his earpiece, and Denki is like, "Oh, so I guess Kawaki fell asleep during a mission." And Kawaki is like, "Yeah, I just dozed off for a bit. I apologize, and the mission is done, right?" And this is where Denki is like, "You know what, Kawaki, when you're on a mission with friends, you have to look out for each other. You have to have each other's back. And because you were sleeping, Metal Lee got injured." And Kawaki is like, "Wait, friends? We aren't necessarily friends, right?" And that does hurt Denki, Metal Lee, and Iwabi, because again, when it comes to the shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village, they think of each other as friends. And Kwaki is like, "Nah, I ain't about this life." And he walks away, and Denki is like, "You know what? We were doing this D rank mission for you, Kawaki. The least you could do is appreciate our efforts." But yeah, Kawaki doesn't have time for this, and he walks away. And then we get to see Kawaki training. So it turns out that Kawaki is training, and he's like, you know what actually matters is just me growing strong. Making friends doesn't matter. So as long as I'm strong, I'll be okay. And I'm like, yeah, Kawaki, that's not going to roll if you want to become a Hidden Leaf Village ninja, because again, strength can only take you so far. You need friends, you need a support group. So Kawaki is walking home, and this is where he ends up passing by Shikadai and Inojin. Both of them are playing cards, and Shikadai is like, "Hey, Kawaki, you want to come play cards with us?" And Kawaki is like, "No, I don't. I don't want to play friends with you." So yeah, it's Kawaki just doesn't want to be and become anyone's friends, which makes sense considering his background. It makes a lot of sense why Kawaki is acting the way that he is. So Bruto and Mitsuki are at the cafe, and Bruto is eating a burger before dinner. Bruto's like, "Yep, a burger before dinner is amazing." So as he's eating, he notices Denki's team in the cafe, and they are disappointed due to Kwaki's performance. And then Shikadai and Inojin walk in, and they're like, "You know what? We have to do something about Kawaki. He isn't opening up to us. He needs to understand that when we are out on missions, not ninjas. When we are out on missions, all of us need to treat each other as friends, as family, because we are putting our lives into each other's hands, and that's one of the reasons why we all hang out together." When even when we aren't on missions, right? Kawaki needs to understand this, and they basically want Bruto to help Kawaki learn this. And Bruto's like, "You know what? I'll see to it." So Bruto does go home, and he's like, "Kawaki, I need to talk to you. How was your mission?" Kawaki is like, "Yeah, it was a boring mission. I'm not really interested in teaming up with other people. I'm only interested in teaming up with you." And Bruto's like, "You know what, Kawaki? You have to snap out of it. If you want to become a shinobi, you have to start trusting people and becoming friends with people." And Kawaki's like, "Bye. I need to go sleep." So Kawaki's next mission is with Wasabi's team, and basically the mission involves capturing this kid who ran away from home. And they're like, "You know what? We have to capture him without any injury." And Kawaki is like, "You know what? Might as well try and do this mission, I guess." So as the kid is running away, Kawaki extends his scientifically enhanced arm, and that really scares the kid, and he just falls down on the ground unconscious. And Kwaki's like, "Hey, your mission is done, so why aren't you guys happy?" Because Wasabi, Supaki, and Namida are very, very concerned over what Kwaki just did. Okay, someone is calling me. I'll be back. Okay, so where were we? Kawaki ends up making the kid faint, and yeah, Wasabi, Namida, and Subaki aren't happy about it because again, for them, Kawaki is doing what he did. It kind of messed up with the mission, and it turns out that it actually did. So they're at the Hokage office. Not the Hokage. Was it? Is it the Hokage office? I guess it is. I could be wrong. Yeah, it is the Hokage office, my bad. So they're at the Hokage office, and Mitsuki and Boruto notice Namida, Iwabi, and Tsubaki in the corner, and they're unhappy. And Boruto is like, "Okay, so what's up?" And Wasabi is like, "Well, we were on a mission with Kawaki, and the mission was basically that we needed to capture this runaway kid." And Kawaki went a bit overboard, and he ended up making the kid fall unconscious. Now the parent of the kid who was her client, the parent isn't very happy, and the parent complained to the Hokage, and we got scolded. And Bruto's like, "Oh, that's bad." And yeah, Wasabi is like, "Bruto, you're the one who's staying with you're the one who that Kawaki's staying with, right? You have to teach him how to do better at missions." And Bruto is again like, "You know what? I'll see what I can do." So Shikamaru and Naruto are going over Kawaki's reports, and they're like, "You know what? If this continues, then Kawaki won't be able to become even a Genin. So what are we supposed to do now?" And Naruto's like, "You know what? I really want to continue giving chances to Kawaki, but maybe, just maybe, the missions are way too simple for someone of Kawaki's caliber." And I'm like, oh Naruto, I know that you really want Kawaki to become a ninja, but yeah, I guess you can try sending him out on more tougher missions, I guess. So Kawaki is taking a bath, and even Kawaki is like, "You know what? I'm not really sure why everyone is angry at me because the mission was completed, right? I'm the one who completed the mission, and why isn't anyone thanking me?" And this is also what Namida and Wasabi and Subaki talked about with Boruto. They're like, "You know what? Even though we're the ones who got scolded, Kawaki got scolded as well because of messing up with the mission." he doesn't realize that what he did was wrong, because it all comes down to Kawaki not necessarily knowing how to interact with other people, especially little kids. And yeah, that's something that I guess we'll continue to see him learn through as the anime progresses. So the next mission is a C rank mission, and this is going to be the last mission. If Kawaki fails this mission, then the test is over. He won't be becoming a shinobi. And they're like, Kawaki, do you understand that? And Kawaki's like, you know what? I don't necessarily care, because then again, I'm not really sure if I even want to become a ninja. And he walks away. This is going to be a C rank mission, where they have to take this client who ended up buying very expensive souvenirs from the Hidden Leaf Village, and they have to escort the client back to his territory, which is the land of the calm seas. And yeah, he needs protection in order to take the souvenirs to his homeland safely. And Shikamaru is like, Shikadai, are you going to be okay with this? Shikadai is like, yep, I'll be okay. When you give me a mission, it doesn't matter who I'm going to work with, I'll have to just make it work. And Shikadai is like, you know what, even if Kawaki isn't interested, I'm willing to work with him. And Naruto's kind of disappointed, because Naruto thought that that Kawaki was warming up to Shikadai, but it turns out that he really isn't. But then again, with the Shikadai going on this mission with Kawaki, I guess he's going to start forming a better relationship with Shikadai. So yeah, the kids walk out of the Hokage office, and again, Shikamaru is like, Naruto, are you okay with sending Kawaki outside the village? We know that his entire body is made of scientific ninja tools that someone else would want, and he might get attacked or kidnapped. And Naruto's like, you know what, Shikamaru, I understand that. I understand your concerns, but we can't just hold Kawaki inside the village forever. We can't just allow him never to go outside, right? And yeah, I think that this entire situation reminded Naruto of his own thing, where he had the Nine Tails beast locked inside of him, and however, even though he was a dangerous weapon, and the people of the village were scared of him, he was still allowed to go out and become a ninja. He wasn't necessarily trapped inside the village. And yeah, Naruto understands the importance of going outside and making friends and all of that stuff. So I appreciated the episode trying to give us an explanation behind why Naruto decided to send Kawaki out on missions. It doesn't necessarily make sense to me, in my, yeah, as far as my opinion goes, because I'm like, Naruto, this is a very, very big risk. This is a very big risk, sending Kawaki out alone. Even though Shikadai and Jojo are with him, they aren't necessarily very strong to face Code, the remaining Kara members. So I'm not necessarily sure you should be sending Kawaki out just yet until the Kara situation is handled, but it is what it is. I guess the anime need an excuse to send Kawaki out on missions and and pad out more episodes before they start adapting the manga material again. So yeah, that's the reason why Kawaki is allowed to go out on missions. And also Naruto is like, you know what, Shikamaru, one of the reasons that I really want Kawaki to start making friends is because when he makes friends, those friends will be able to protect him as well. They'll fight for him, they'll want to protect him, and yeah, that's why it's important for Kawaki to make sense. Which, yeah, that makes sense to me. So as Kawaki is walking out of the Hokage office, he gets contacted by this woman. We have seen her before. She's basically the one, I guess, who's in charge of assigning missions to ninjas. And basically, she ended up telling Kawaki that, you know what, Kawaki, until you become a Genin, you will be given a daily allowance. And Kawaki's like, wait, this money is for me. I can spend it however I want. And the woman is like, yeah, it's not much, but it's yours. You can do with it what you want. So Kawaki ends up deciding to buy snacks, the teaki, which he really likes. And as he's buying teaki, a woman and her child pass by the shop, and they talk about how they should take snacks home. And Kawaki gets an idea. He's like, you know what? I should take these snacks home to share with Boruto and the rest. Which again, the anime is showing Kawaki developing as a character and becoming more open to sharing and caring for other people. So while that's happening, Inojin and Shikadai are playing cards, and Inojin can't accompany Shikadai because Inojin has has a mission to help out with the sensory unit. And I'm like, okay, so Inojin is working on the sensory skills, which I really like, because that fight between Inojin and Hoki, where Inojin didn't necessarily even try to sense Hoki around the arena, it didn't make any sense to me. So I like Inojin practicing his sensory skills. And Boruto is like, okay, so you'll be able to handle Kawaki, right, Shikadai? And Shikadai is like, you know what? I'll have to do it. And even if Kawaki doesn't appear in front of us or doesn't arrive in order for us to go out on a mission together, I'll just make do with myself and Chocho. And Bruto is very concerned because he wants Kawaki to pass his shinobi exams, and he also doesn't want Kawaki to bail. But yeah, so everyone's home. Kawaki comes in with the snacks, and Bruto's like, "Hey, Kawaki, I really need to talk to you. So, are you interested in becoming a shinobi?" And Kawaki's like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure." And I'm like, why is everyone forcing Kawaki to become a ninja? If he doesn't want to become a ninja, don't force him to become a ninja. Just help him become stronger. But then again, when it comes again, Naruto did say that he needs to start making friends. But yeah, again, he can make friends, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has to become a shinobi, right? But yeah, Naruto's like, "Hey, Kawaki, you aren't thinking of bailing on Shikadai and Chocho tomorrow, right?" And Kawaki's like, "It's none of your business. Why are you doing this to me?" And he basically just runs away. And I'm like, "Oh, Kawaki, oh." And Bruto is wondering what the heck just happened. Bruto's like, "I can't just break through to Kawaki. Kawaki? What's happening?" And this is where Hinata appears. And Hinata is like, "Bruto, you need to go easy on Kawaki because of his background. He's not necessarily sure how to talk to other people." And I'm not. I'm yeah. Hinata's like, "I'm sure that he has never once smiled with friends or hang out with friends. He just doesn't know what that is, what that feels like. So you need to give him time, okay?" And Hinata notices the bag of teaki that Kawaki was bringing home, and Bruto is like, "Okay, so Kawaki was the one who brought these, huh?" And Hinata's like, "Yep, you can see that Kawaki is growing. We just need to be patient with him." And another conversation we get is between Salad and Kawaki, because Salad is training, and Kawaki is like, "Hey, you just become a Jonin and you're still training." And Salad is like, "Yep, I have a very very long way to go because my goal is to become the Hokage. I need to be strong enough to protect my teammates, and I need to be strong enough to protect the entire village." And Kawaki is like, "Why?" And Salad is like, "Yeah, that's the duty of the Hokage. When you become a Hokage of a village, you have to think of the entire village as a family, and I want to be strong enough to protect my family, similar to Lord Seventh." And because Kawaki looks up to Naruto, he starts realizing that, yep, if he wants to become like Naruto, he needs to start making friends and think of other people as his family. And Salad is like, "You know what? When you think of the village, as your family village, you start working harder for it in order to protect it." And Kawaki is like, "You know what, Salad? I appreciate the talk, but I haven't found my village yet." And he walks away. So yeah, Kawaki is really trying to find a place for himself, a place that he can call home, and it's going to take time, but he'll get there. And I really like the conversation between Salad and Kawaki, and also because it helped Kawaki realize the importance of working with other people. And I'm also like, "You know what, Kawaki, shouldn't you remember that conversation that Kurama had with you long ago about Naruto's past and how Naruto is friends with everyone, and why family and friends are important to Naruto? Maybe Kawaki will remember that conversation as this arc continues." So it's time for Chocho and Shikadai to go on a mission, and Kawaki isn't here yet. And Shikadai is like, "You know what? Maybe Kawaki won't appear, so I guess we'll have to handle this mission on our own." And Chocho's like, "Why can't we wait just a bit longer?" And Shikadai's like, "Hey, you really want to work with Kawaki, huh?" And Chocho's like, "Why not? He's handsome." So yeah, Chocho's like, "Are you sure we can't wait any longer?" Shikadai is like, "Yep, we can't wait. If we wait, it will mess up the mission." But it turns out that Kawaki does arrive, and Shikadai notices these marks on his clothes and his arm. And Shikadai is like, "What the heck were you up to?" And Kawaki's like, "That's none of your business." So I guess Kawaki continued training, and he might end up figured out how to use a new jutsu. And I guess we might end up seeing him use that particular jutsu down in the next episode. So the client appears, and the client is called Mozuku or Mozuki. I think it's Mozuku, which is basically also a name of a seaweed. And Mozuku isn't he isn't a fan of Kawaki's behavior. He's like, "Okay, so Kawaki, you're one of the ninjas who's going to escort me, huh? And you're late. You aren't taking your job as a ninja very seriously. And if something happens, I'm going to ask for a discount on this mission, okay?" And Kawaki doesn't appreciate Mozuku's behavior. He's like, "Can I beat him up?" And Chocho stops him. Chocho's like, "No, that's a very important client. We just have to deal with it." And Shikadai is like, "Yeah, sorry." So it's time for all of them to go out on a mission, and they start walking out away from the village. And this is where the episode ends. And for in the preview of the next episode, I guess something bad's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that bad thing is going to be, and how Shikadai and Kawaki develop their relationship moving forward. I will be doing a review to this for the Geekery. The link to that will be down in the comment section below. As soon as the review is published, let me know what you thought of the episode. And yeah, I liked it. I liked it. It was a fun episode. It set up a good arc for Kawaki's development, which I'm interested in seeing. But yeah, until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.